In the world of power and influence, Machiavelli never sat down to write about women in the romantic sense. Yet his principles, control, manipulation, perception, and strategy, slide seamlessly into human relationships, especially those between men and women, because before you can influence anyone, you must first understand them. And to truly understand women, you must cut through the illusions they present and uncover the psychological forces that silently dictate their choices. This isn't about kindness. It isn't about romance. It's about strategy. It's about bending emotions, desires, and perceptions until they fall in line with your will. So ask yourself, are you the one shaping the game or just another piece being moved across the board? Rule number 1, control her perception of you. Never expose the entire truth. Machiavelli taught that appearances often outweigh reality, and in relationships, perception is reality. A woman's feelings toward you are not anchored to who you truly are, but to who she believes you are. If she sees a man who is always available, predictable, and transparent, her interest withers. But if she sees a man wrapped in mystery, partially revealed, slightly unpredictable, impossible to fully pin down, her curiosity stays alive. Uncertainty becomes addictive. Control isn't built by serving raw truth. It's built by presenting a carefully designed image, strength, independence, and desirability. The less she can decode you, the more compelled she becomes to keep chasing for answers. Rule number 2, emotional leverage. Give and withdraw with calculation. Unlimited availability is poison to intrigue. Machiavelli would have recognized that emotional scarcity breeds control. Offer affection, validation, and attention when it deepens her attachment, but remove them when she drifts into arrogance or takes your presence for granted. This isn't cruelty, it's conditioning. People value most what they believe they could lose. A woman who understands, consciously or not, that your affection can vanish, will instinctively work harder to secure it. The true power lies not in constant giving, but in measured rewards and deliberate absence, an emotional rhythm she cannot resist. Rule number 3, control the frame. Never play her game. Make her play yours. If she sets the pace, she controls the dynamic. Machiavelli's brilliance was in subtly dictating the terms of every interaction, shaping expectations, controlling rules, guiding outcomes, often without anyone realizing it. You must do the same. Define what earns your attention, what drives you away, what qualifies as acceptable. And when she tests your boundaries, and she will, respond not with anger but with calm detachment. The moment she realizes she must adapt to your structure to keep you, she has already stepped into your sphere of influence. Rule number 4, selective vulnerability. Machiavelli warned rulers against appearing too cold, lest they be hated. But he also warned against being too soft, lest they be exploited. Balance is everything. A man who never shows cracks seems inhuman. A man who shows too many appears weak. The key is to reveal vulnerability only when it serves your strategy. Share small glimpses of openness, moments that make her feel like she's peering into a private side of you no one else sees. That single belief, that she alone has access to your hidden humanity, will bond her tightly to you. The strength lies not in constant toughness but in controlled exposure. Rule number 5, dominate the emotional climate. Control doesn't mean constant command. It means shaping the emotional environment in which she exists. Influence the atmosphere and you influence her decisions. Through the cadence of your words, the timing of your replies, the energy you bring into a room, you can quietly stir excitement, provoke longing, or ignite guilt without a direct command. Machiavelli understood that human beings rarely act out of logic. They act out of emotion. And the one who dictates those emotions dictates the person. Number 6, keep desire alive through uncertainty. The paradox of attraction is this: certainty kills it. The moment she feels she has fully secured you, her drive begins to wither. But when she's unsure if she has truly won, her effort multiplies. A Machiavellian man understands this and plants small seeds of doubt, not through accusations, not through childish games, but through subtle reminders that his world extends far beyond her. When she feels that you are not fully contained within her grasp, she works harder to earn her place in your life. Desire doesn't grow in comfort. It thrives in tension, in the delicate balance between feeling safe and fearing loss. Number 7, never bow to her emotional demands. Women, whether consciously or not, test for dominance. They'll challenge your opinions, push your boundaries, or try to lure you into emotional overreactions. And each time you react exactly as she expects, you quietly hand her control. Machiavelli would warn you here, true power lies in composure. By remaining unmoved even when provoked, you establish an invisible hierarchy. Without shouting, without arguing, you teach her that her storms do not move you. She must adapt her behavior to maintain your presence, not the other way around. Number 8. Become the source of her highs and lows. If every surge of emotion, joy, frustration, longing, relief, traces back to you, you become her anchor. Even when she swears she despises the unpredictability, she will keep returning, because you are the one who makes her feel alive. Machiavelli knew this about loyalty. It isn't built by constant kindness, but by unforgettable intensity. The goal is not to be the man she feels comfortable with. The goal is to be the man she cannot erase from her mind. Number 9. Weaponize social influence. Machiavelli understood that a person's worth is rarely judged in isolation. It is magnified or diminished by the opinions of others. A woman's attraction doesn't exist in a vacuum. It swells when she sees you admired, respected, even envied by others. Surround yourself with allies, with admirers, with people who validate your value without you ever having to announce it. Let her witness moments of subtle recognition, quiet respect, and unspoken envy. You aren't convincing her directly, the world is convincing her for you. Number 10. Plant ideas as if they were her own. Direct commands invite resistance. But a suggestion, a seed planted quietly, grows roots before she realizes it. Machiavelli advised rulers to make others believe the choice was theirs, even when it wasn't. If you want her behavior to shift, don't demand. God. Frame your words as stories, as questions, as casual remarks that point her in the direction you want. Soon she will act, believing it was her independent decision, never recognizing the invisible hand that shaped her. Number 11. Create dependency through contrast. Humans crave balance, but they are addicted to contrast. If you can offer both the calm of safety and the thrill of unpredictability, you become impossible to replace. Machiavelli's political counterparts used the rhythm of reward and fear to hold power, not excessive but just enough to keep their subjects alert. In relationships, this rhythm becomes presence and absence. One moment, deeply connected. The next, distant and unreadable. Without realizing it, she adjusts her emotional rhythm to yours. Her balance depends on your shifts. Number 12. Restrict access to your attention. Scarcity is value. A man who is constantly available becomes invisible. But a man who controls his availability, who decides when and where interactions happen, becomes magnetic. Machiavelli applied this principle to rulers. An audience with a prince was never taken for granted. The same applies here. Your time, your presence, your energy must feel earned. Withdraw without apology, without explanation. Let the silence itself raise your value. Availability is a privilege, not a default. Number 13. Wield silence as a weapon. Machiavelli often spoke of the power of omission. Not every truth needs a voice, and not every question deserves an answer. Silence unsettles. It leaves space for the mind to spin, to create stories, to reveal insecurities. When she expects a reaction but meets silence, her imagination works harder than your words ever could. That silence makes you unpredictable, unreadable, and in human psychology, enigma is magnetic. Number 14. Construct a world so magnetic she has no choice but to step into it. One of the most underestimated forms of control isn't direct persuasion. It's the environment you build around yourself. Machiavelli often urged rulers to create systems people desired to belong to, so they would willingly surrender to the rules that govern them. If your life is overflowing with ambition, influence, momentum, and unique experiences, she won't be able to ignore it. Instead of you bending to accommodate her reality, she'll feel compelled to fit herself into yours. You're not attempting to become her universe, you're making your universe so captivating, so rich, so alive that she will compete for the privilege of belonging to it. Number 15. Make her invest, and watch the bond tighten. Human psychology follows a ruthless rule. The more energy, time, and emotion someone invests into something, the harder it becomes to walk away. This is the sunk cost trap. When she pours effort, sacrifices, or even pieces of her identity into you, helping with your goals, adapting to your standards, proving her loyalty, she becomes deeply tied to the outcome. Machiavelli would recommend engineering subtle opportunities for her to contribute. Each act of investment deepens her emotional roots. And once she's given enough, leaving you doesn't just mean losing you, it means admitting she wasted everything she's already poured in. Number 16. Allow controlled victories. Crushing dominance may feel powerful, but absolute control often breeds rebellion. The clever ruler understands the value of small concessions. Machiavelli himself argued that leaders should allow minor wins to keep subjects satisfied, while still holding ultimate command. In your dynamic, this means letting her win a few arguments, make certain choices, or believe she swayed you, so long as the ground you concede is insignificant to you. She feels empowered, yet the larger direction always bends back toward your design. Number 17. Fuse her strongest emotions with your presence. The mind anchors deep feelings to the people present when they occur. If you are there in her moments of exhilaration, relief, tension, or passion, she won't just remember the event, she will associate you with the emotion itself. Machiavelli's political strategy was similar, appearing as the hero during times of triumph, or the savior in moments of crisis. In personal influence, you position yourself as the one who lifts her out of fear, boredom, or despair. Over time, her highest highs and most desperate lows circle back to you, cementing you as her emotional anchor. Number 18. End encounters before she's ready. Anticipation is a weapon. If you always linger until the energy fades, she leaves satisfied but unshaken. If you end things at their peak, conversations, moments of intimacy, shared experiences, you deny her closure and leave her wanting more. Machiavelli knew that overstaying weakens authority. But leaving at the height of intensity transforms ordinary interactions into obsessions. Her mind replays what was cut short, craving continuation. That craving becomes a tether. Number 19. Blur the boundary between pleasure and uncertainty. The strongest psychological grip isn't built on comfort. It's built on the tension between reward and risk. If she connects you with joy, passion, and excitement, and with the subtle fear of losing you, she'll remain locked in the cycle. This was one of Machiavelli's timeless balances. Give enough reward to inspire loyalty, but never so much comfort that people forget the source of their satisfaction. In romance, this means offering warmth, then pulling away, keeping her perpetually unsure yet undeniably attached. Number 20. Withdraw at the height of your power. Nothing shocks the mind more than sudden absence. When you vanish strategically, after a moment of intimacy, success, or connection, she is left to stew in the silence, analyzing every word, replaying every moment, desperate for your return. Machiavelli called this strategic absence a tool of rulers, a way to remind people of your worth by forcing them to feel the weight of your absence. People rarely recognize true value while it is constantly present. It's the withdrawal that makes them ache for it. These principles are not about fairness, equality, or the polished fairy tale society sells. They are about power, the subtle shaping of perception, the invisible strings that guide emotions and decisions. Machiavelli understood what most men ignore. Every human relationship rests on power dynamics, and the one who masters them becomes unforgettable. Control isn't brute force. It's influence so quiet, so seamless, that the other person swears they're choosing freely, when in reality they're walking exactly where you've led them. But remember this, these tools are blades. Used recklessly, they shred trust to pieces. Used with precision, they bind someone so tightly that leaving you doesn't even feel like an option. Not because you demanded it, but because she convinced herself it was her own decision. If this struck you, hit like, drop a comment, and share it. And if you want more truths society doesn't want you to hear, make sure you subscribe.